peaceful out here.
So I want to thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Got a nice lineup for y'all. I want to get into a couple of topics. If you've been following my platforms, you would know what the topics are tonight. Classic album review. I've been watching a couple of podcasts, and one of the main podcasts I watched, shout out to the Joe Budden podcast. They were talking about classic albums. And with me always doing music every week, I decided, well, I have so many classic albums from different artists, my favorite artists, and I want to start giving a review on that album. Just pretty much giving my top 5 off the album, even though like with most of the classics, you can do pretty much a no skip. The artist we'll be talking about tonight is Wale, and the album will be Ambition. I'll get into that when I get to the music segment. Learning options, just I wanted to give a little quick stock update on those that know like I was doing stocks. I'm still currently doing stocks, but trying to learn the other side of the game when it comes to the stock market. UFC 326, we'll get into those results first to get that out the way. And the last thing I really want to discuss is this NFL free agency thing that's going down. It's been a lot of signings. I want to get into the main signings for each team in the NFL. And I want to be brief on the NBA as far as Bam Adebayo's historical game the other night when he dropped 83 points to pass up Kobe Bryant to now be number 2 overall, right behind Wilt Chamberlain, 100-point game. So,
sealed, suit pressure holding, ready to make some history.
Copy that, Brooks. The surface is all yours.
Stepping off the ramp now. All that dust is redder than I imagined. Landers away. Mars is just you and me. Look at that view. Earth.
Let's get into the UFC 326 results. I want to go over the my predictions and what the results were. And let me see here. I went 1, 2, 3, 4. I went 4-2. The UFC 326, I went 4-2. So prelims, Cody Garbrandt versus Zhao Long. This was a weird fight because, let me see, Cody landed 28 punches that whole fight. Long landed 70 punches. Now, so on paper, you would think the higher the person that did the most strikes won the match, right? No. What happened was Long went low a couple times and kicked Cody in the nuts, kneed him in the nuts. He kicked him in the nuts. I want to say this happened 2 times, and they end up taking a point for each time he did it. No, it happened 3 times. Because the first time it happened, it was a warning. The next 2 times, they took a point each time, and that evened the fight back out because I had Cody losing all 3 rounds. What I said before, I said I'm always rock with Cody because I want to see him end his career on a good note. But he fights like he's so cautious now. He doesn't really want to engage with fighters. His confidence is gone in there, and it's because he's been knocked out a couple of times when he was at the highest point of his career. And when you start taking L's like that, it's like it's no recover from it. And you don't see most fighters recover from, especially when they stick to their same game plan. I'm gonna go out here and outstrike you, and it's not working, man. He dips his head to the punches way too much. His defense is not there. His defense is shot. He tries to showboat a little much to entertain the crowd, but he forgets that, hey, end of the day, you got to throw more punches. And he clearly didn't throw the more punches this fight. The only thing that saved him was getting kneed 3 times. So Cody did pull off the win. Like I said, I was still rocking with my boy. Main card, we had Gregory Rodriguez versus Bruno Ferreira. Bruno actually beat him the first time around. This second time, it was nothing like that. First round, Rodriguez caught him with a mean one, put him down, knocked him smooth out. I said it would be some knockouts on this card. It definitely was. Drew Dauber versus Michael Johnson. I was rocking with Michael Johnson in this fight. This was one of those matches that, like, I looked at the background of them. They embedded the UFC 326 countdown, and they were being way too friendly. You could tell these dudes would hang out on a weekend with each other, good friends with each other. But it was just too much respect. First round, they was having fun, going back and forth. I think both of them was bleeding a little bit. Second round, I want to say Daubers threw a kick at Michael Johnson. And this is what I hate. When a fighter like smiles at you or dap you up during the match, it just shows you got way too much respect for this dude. And Dobbers took advantage of that because he caught Michael Johnson with his guard down and he knocked him smooth the hell out. I had Michael Johnson win this one, but he lost that fight. Next was Raul Rosas Jr. versus Rob Font. When I tell you that this was it wasn't even a crazy fight. I thought Rosas was going to win by submission, or he's going to look for the takedown because he's more of a submission artist. He looks to take it to the ground. His stand-up is cool, but he's better on the ground. He came away with 16 takedowns. Rob Font couldn't stop a takedown. You think they only did 3 rounds, so he's averaging like 5 takedowns each round. So that was the big key factor there. I think he outstruck him by like 10, 15 punches. But overall, he stuck to his game plan. He's like, hey, I can't knock this guy out. I'm going to take it to the ground. I'm going to just keep on taking him down. And it made Rob Font look weak in that division. So Font, I think he was ranked number 15 or 13. Raul wasn't ranked yet. So now he's about to be ranked. After the fight, he said he want to fight somebody top 10. So salute to that young man. I think he's only like 20 years old. Co-main event, we had Renner De Ritter versus Kyle Barlola. This fight went exactly how I thought it would. Even though De Ritter outstruck him, Barlola had more significant strikes. The Ritter punches was just like, what's the punches what's the term they use? I can't think of what the term is, but it was like the punches wasn't adding up to shit. It had no power behind it. Rabbit punches. He was throwing little rabbit punches, so he had to get like a 5-piece combo off, but it was barely touching him. It's like them little taps. De Ritter, like I said, I don't know how he won the belt in the first place. I know he is good at his last promotion, but being in the UFC, I think he got lucky and beat somebody. Well, I want to say lucky. He beat some of the weaker competition, but now that he has to go up in competition, I don't see him being a champ anytime soon again. And like I said, he looked terrible to me out there, man. But Kyle Barlola won that fight. Main event of the evening, the BMF fight. Man, I was going for my boy Max Holloway, but this is one of those fights that outside of the last fight, he got his ass whooped. He couldn't stop Oliveira when they stood up. Oliveira was punching him up. He was getting the best of him on the stand-up. And at some point, you knew that Oliveira was going to take him down. He was able to get 5 takedowns, 5 rounds, a takedown each round. And it was the same game plan. Punch him up a little bit. When you start tiring out or overthrow his punches, go for the takedown, lay on him. Max even was able to almost get a takedown, and Oliveira was able to reverse it because he's a submission genius, magician out there. And Holloway just couldn't keep up with him. He outstruck him 73-110. Oliveira was able to come away with the belt. He is now the new BMF champion. My only concern with Charles Oliveira being the BMF champ is that when I look at a belt called the BMF, the baddest motherfucker, right, title, if you look at the people previous that fought for this belt, these were all people that you know was going for the knockout. Majority of them, 99% of the people that went for the belt was a knockout artist. This fight made sense, but I think they could have did it without the BMF. I understand he has the BMF belt. You got to put it on the line. This was one of those fights they just should have just ran it back because they haven't fought for like 10 years when Holloway won because of Oliveira had an injury. But he wasn't able to capitalize on this. Max Holloway, you would have thought that he was better. Oliveira just looked way bigger and stronger, and he just looked like he was like 3 levels ahead of Holloway on this one. And I'm not used to seeing Holloway getting destroyed like he did. But like I said, he didn't look good this fight. This was a big fight for him. He should have had a chance to win this one. But like I said, if you can't take the takedown by somebody you know that's gonna try to take you down, it's over with. If they shooting for you every time, he did it so easy. Every time he went for the takedown, he didn't have to struggle for it. So going forward, somebody's going to obviously have to get that belt off Oliveira, but it's going to have to be a knockout artist that's going to have to put his little tall ass to sleep. But going forward, I don't want to see no submission artists in the matchup for the BMF belt because it doesn't make sense. The BMF belt should be for main guys that are mainly strikers. No submission artists. Keep them cats out of the contention for that BMF belt. That's all I have to say about that. That's all I got on UFC this week. I know it's an event coming up on Saturday, I want to say. We got Josh Emmett and Kevin Vallejos. I probably won't get into that card. There's a couple of fights on there, but as of now, that's all I got for y'all for UFC 326. Those are the results from this past week. Like, share, and subscribe to the Mechee from the Midwest podcast for your latest UFC updates. Let's take a quick break and get back in here and talk a little basketball.
85! Let's go! Look at that boy, 85 points. That's me out. Keep it coming. Hey, give me some. Give me some. Yes, sir. I hear you. MVP, say it louder. I love every one of you. This city, this team.
All right, we back. Let's get into a little bit of basketball talk. If you don't know what I'm talking about, a couple of days ago, Bam Adebayo for the Miami Heat dropped a career high 83 points. This is the second highest points in NBA history, right behind Wilt Chamberlain. Before Wilt Chamberlain, number 2 was the GOAT, my GOAT, Kobe Bryant. He had 81 points versus the Toronto Raptors. And it's been a lot of people, like, they've been getting flack on Bam because I guess they wasn't expecting, like, when you think of somebody like, oh, who you think will score 80 points in, like, current days, you would think of somebody like maybe Curry, Luka, Wemby, Anthony Edwards, Jokic, something like that. But nobody really thinks of Bam. And he went out here, I want to say he had 31 points in the first quarter. By halftime, he had 45. There is no way that a person should end up with 83 points in a game. I'm not one of those to say, oh, it's just stat pattern. No, it's not that. He's having one of those nights that he feel like can't nobody fuck with him, and he capitalized on it. But when you're playing, they were playing the Brooklyn Nets, and it's nothing against Brooklyn Nets, but if you won 15 games on a season, y'all like 15 and 50, why are y'all not double and triple teaming these dudes right out the gate at the halftime? They didn't do that. They waited till fourth quarter, and then that's when they start doubling and tripling. But every time they did it, they were just fouling him. So all you was doing was just sending him to the free throw line. I think he ended up shooting like 30 or 40 free throws. It's still like, I'm not taking no credit away from him. I just feel like with a bum team like that, y'all got to figure out a way to double and triple team these dudes and take them out the game. You're not about to get, I know we got 15 wins, but you're not getting 85 points on me, 83 points on me. It should never happen. And just like with Kobe, they were in the game. I want to say they were losing when they were playing Toronto, and Kobe bought them back in the game, and that's how they got the win. So I know a lot of people like I'm a Kobe fan. I know there are Kobe stands, and Kobe stands are those that just like nobody's better than Kobe. They didn't see any flaw in his game or anything like that. But you had to be I'm a realistic type of person when it comes to sports. That game, like I said, they were losing. So I see where they try to compare the two. Kobe team was losing. He had a bad team, and Kobe was able to get them back in the game, like scoring like 20, 25 points straight and going crazy. Bam team was winning the whole game. He could have really went out the game, but I think he felt something brewing that, hey, y'all keep passing me the ball, I'm going to get some points. I don't think he thought he was going to score 83, but it happened. Now, the question I have for y'all was, out of the top 3 scorers in NBA history, top 3 most points scored, Wilt Chamberlain with 100, Kobe Bryant with 81, and Bam Adebayo, which one was more impressive? And to me, like I said, I'm a Kobe fan. I'm going to say Kobe. And the reason why is because they were playing from behind that game. Even though they sucked that year, the Lakers sucked too. But Kobe was able to bring the team back and win that game. Bam team was up, and he was continue scoring. No problem there. Wilt was playing against motherfucking KKK members, substitute teachers, and shit like that. So I think it was tough for Wilt because I said, you playing against mobs that don't even like you, that don't give a damn about you. And on top of that, you're 7'2" or 7'3" or something like that. You should be scoring that many points against these little ass dudes. Kobe team was down. That's more impressive to me because you had to bring your team back. Like I said, Bam team was already up. And like I said, I'm not trying to compare none of them, but I just want to know, who do you think out of those 3 names that I named, which would you say was the better, the more impressive scoring way to get the most scoring at the current time? So, like I said, my choice is Kobe Bryant. I want to know y'all thoughts in the comments. That is the only thing I want to talk about the NBA right now. Because my Lakers doing good. I don't want to talk about them because LeBron not playing. I'm feeling good about them currently. Maybe next week when LeBron get back, I'll let y'all know how I feel about him to see how he fits back into the rotation and stuff, which sounds crazy. But we'll get into that. But in the comments, let me know who you think had the most impressive when they went for the most scoring points. Wilt Chamberlain with 100, Kobe Bryant with 81, and Bam Adebayo for 83. Overall, salute to Bam for making this happen because he's one of those dudes who was not on the radar to get 83 points in an NBA game. That's all I got for y'all for NBA, man. Let's take a quick break right quick and get back in here and talk a little bit about this classic album I want to review right quick and give y'all my favorite 5 songs off of there. We'll be right back on the Mechee from the Midwest podcast.
Look, came up out the district with the drive of a Charger. PG on my shoulder, look how I'm built larger. Mechee on the chain, ice water drip charter. Flow smooth, but the lines hit harder. Metro heartbeat, drums ride like the red line.
Okay, as I was saying, I've been listening to people talk about people with classic albums and stuff like that. And I decided that, well, the weeks I don't have any new music drop, why not go back and say my favorite 5 songs off an album that I would consider a classic album? And the first album I would like to discuss is one of my favorite rappers. He's really like he in my top 15. I'll say in my top 15. Wale. In 2011, he dropped Ambition. This is one of my favorite albums. To me, I consider it a classic album. Out of these 16 songs, it's not one skip on here. Yeah, not one single skip on this tape. I want to give y'all my favorite 5 songs over here. And if you haven't heard Wale Ambition, this album is 15 years old. You should have heard it by now. Classic songs on here. I just want to give y'all my favorite 5. My favorite 5 on here would be Legendary, Sabotage, White Linen, Ambition, and No Days Off. Those are my favorite 5 tracks on here. But when you look at this tape, man, it's got Lotus Flowerbomb on there, Slight Work with Big Sean, DC or Nothing, That Way, Jeremiah and Rick Ross. Oh, I guess I should have said the features. The features we got on here, Miguel, Kid Cudi, Lloyd, Neo, Big Sean, Rick Ross, Meek Mills, Jeremiah, Rick Ross. They on there too. Yeah. Those are all the features on here. But like I said, this is one of my favorite albums, man. I maybe it's one of my favorite because I was in the DMV at the time when this album dropped. I was stationed in Quantico, Virginia. And like I said, I didn't know what the DMV was. I didn't know who Wale was because I thought, just like everybody else, I thought his name was Will until they start playing his music a lot down that way. I think he had a song with what's her name? Lady Gaga or something. He had a video, and I didn't really know too much about him. Now he had a little bit of music before this, but when I was in the DMV when it's dropped, and with him being from up there in DC area and from the DMV, I think it just hit harder. I think it was just something that you had to be there for. And like I said, once this tape came on, man, like it was no skips. Any club you went to, if you go to the strip club or out to the club, the gym, they was playing his music all over the place. And I just think this was a great time for this album to drop. And like I said, it's one of my favorite albums. Like I said, if you haven't heard Wale Ambitions, please go listen to it. Let me know what your favorite 5 songs are, because I know like most music listeners have heard this album, but to me, I consider this one of my favorite, and I consider it a classic. So again, my favorite 5 songs on here is Legendary, White Linen, Ambition, No Days Off, and Miami Nights. Did I say Miami Nights? Or Sabotage with Lloyd. Those are my favorite 5 songs off this classic album, Wale Ambition. If you haven't heard it, it's been streaming for the last 15 years on all streaming platforms. If you have, in the comments, let me know what your favorite 5 songs are on Wale Ambition. And in the comments, also let me know which artists would you like me to review, because if they got a classic album, I'll review them next. If not, I'll pick one of the albums out that I haven't heard, and I'll give y'all a review on it in the near future. But right now, I'm doing only classic albums. So in the comments, let me know what albums you would consider a classic, and I'll review it and let y'all know my favorite 5 songs on there. That's all I got for music today, man. Thank y'all for tuning to the Mechee from the Midwest podcast. Stick around. We are going to go into, let's get into the stock market next after this commercial break.
Finally learned options, everything changed. Options give you leverage, but only if you know what you're doing. I started with the basics, what a call is, what a put is, how to pick a strike and an expiration. Then I learned the risk, the Greeks, and practiced on.
Okay, so when it comes to the stock market, this is something I've been doing for the last couple of years. I've found a way to make money on it. Before I go any further, I am not a financial advisor, but I found a way to make money in the stock market. And I believe that if you get in the stock market and do some of the same things that I'm doing, as in buy and hold in stocks, you can be the first millionaire in your family bloodline if you stick to it and be consistent, and you'll make it happen. Now, as of right now, if you don't know what I do with the stock market, I do buy and hold. What I do is buy and hold our stocks, meaning I buy shares of companies, I buy them and I hold them for 5 to 10 years. So weekly, what I do is my goal is to put $125 in there every Friday into my buying power. When I see a stock that I find maybe four to five good stocks that I've done my research on. Everybody should do their own research. Do your research on 5 stocks and see if they're performing well over the last 3 to 5 years. If this is trending upwards, it most likely might be a good stock. If they're paying dividends, most likely a good stock to invest in, because dividends pay you for every share that you own. They pay you a small percentage for holding a share. So as far as buying hold, if, for example, if you got 100 Apple shares, 100 Amazon shares, you got over 20K right there off of just 100 of those each. I want to say like 20K right there. You had to be consistent with it. If you want to buy a share, I think both of those stocks are like around 200 something, between $200 $300. If you're able to continue to buy those for 5 to 10 years, you will be sitting on 100K. If you continue to put money towards it, that 100 turns into 1,000 shares, you'll be a first millionaire in your bloodline. But you have to be consistent with it. You have to believe in it and make it happen. The more stocks that the more bullshit you're able to cut out in your life that you don't need, and you put towards financial freedom and your financial wealth for your family, everything will be okay financially. And I think that's drives a lot of people crazy, not having enough money, not having to live paycheck to paycheck, having all this money come out your pockets when you could really be saving up for the future. So that's just what I do right now. What I wanted to get into right quick is another thing that I saw that I've been avoiding because it just sounds scary, and that is option plays. What I've learned so far with the option plays is that it's even easier, but it's a risk that you have to take, which you have to take with anything that you do in life. When you buy something, you're taking a risk if it's going to stay working for a couple months, or is it going to break and you have to buy a new one. When it comes to buying options, it's pretty much you're buying the option at a certain price. So for example, just what I get so far, if you buy a stock, if you see a stock that's at $150, right? It says that if you see that it's trending, that it can get to like 155 or something, 155, 160 in a month, maybe 2 weeks or a week, you should buy not a put. A put is if it's lower. Damn, I'm losing my train of thought. So I'm trying to say all of it without looking at shit. Call inputs, isn't that what it's called? Yeah. So call means that the stock is going up. So if you believe that the stock is going to go up, you can buy a contract. One contract equals 100 shares, meaning that if you buy one contract, you get 100 shares, right? So if it goes up 10 cents, it's going to go up 10 cents for each share, which turns into whatever amount of money. Now, if that stock drops and you see that it's consistently dropping over the last month or so, a couple of weeks, you want to do a put play, meaning that, hey, I'm betting that this stock is going to continue to drop, and you could win money there as well. Now, the thing about it is being consistent, learning how to read the chart, and having the patience to know that, hey, you got to know when to get out the play or when to let the play ride, because you don't want to, nobody wants to lose money. And that's what I've learned. I just did a play, for example, today. I did a play from today all the way to April 17th, right? It said it had to hit 80. Now, if it hit 80, I get $325. But the way it was trending today, it got up to where I was plus 75. And I'm like, well, I've never been here before. This is my first time trying it. Let me take the money and get out just so I can learn that this is how it works. If you see it trending the right way, take whatever, find a strike point that you want to take. If you say, if it goes up $75 or $100, I'm going to take that money and I'm going to run instead of waiting, because you don't always have to hit the 300. I know that sounds crazy, but sometimes it's better just to take the small wins and build on it, because you're going to only build up your confidence. You're going to find your tolerance. And I found my tolerance today. At first, I was telling my boy earlier, I'm like, damn, it's up $25. I guess that's cool. But then it got up to $75. I said, hey, I ain't told him. I'm going to tell him tomorrow. I'm like, hey, I took my 77 and I got out to play because I ain't want to wait no whole month for the 323. But now I know, now I'm going to be watching this play, because if on April 17, if it get to 80, I know that I was in a good play. So when it comes to options, when it comes to the stock market, it is so many ways that we can gain money. It's going to be a risk, but you have to do your research so that you'll be more right than wrong. So I just wanted to relay the message that this is something currently I'm learning. The more information that I learn, I'm going to share with y'all on this platform. And hopefully at some point I get to the point where I'm confident that we could start a little small stock group and start building with each other, because I'm all about financial gain, financial freedom, and being the first millionaire in my bloodline. So that was the message I wanted to pass to y'all. For those that are scared to get in the stock game, just go read some books, do some research, and get in the game. If you're doing buy and hold, just if you download Robinhood, throw like $20, $25 on there every Friday, you'll have $100 a month. And once you get that $100, buy you a stock that's under $100, like Wells Fargo or Bank of America. They both pay dividends. The more stocks you got, the more money you're going to make off them for owning those stocks. And next thing you know, you'll be the first millionaire in your family. So that's all I got for stocks, man. I want to go ahead and wrap up the show with the NFL free agency. So like, share, subscribe to the Mechee for the Midwest podcast for your latest stock updates. Let's get into the NFL free agency after this commercial.
We are out here in the stadium, and free agency is wild, man. Teams are tossing money around, and I'm loving every second of it. Quarterbacks getting paid, edge rushers changing zip codes. It's like Christmas for football junkies.
Okay, what's going on, y'all? Back again. I want to get into this NFL free agency. We had a lot of stuff go down, man. It's currently still going down. I'm about to just go right down the list with all the teams and tell y'all the key players that they got, what kind of deal they got. And this season is looking very promising, especially for a team like my team, Tennessee Titans, coming off a 3-win season, 3-14. I'm not saying that we're going to make the playoffs or anything like that, but I see the switch. The Patriots was able to go from 4-13 last year. I believe my team can do something like that. I won't say we win 14 games. We could win about 8 or 9 games right now. But after this draft, it's going to build up. I have even more confidence about what we're going to do next. But as far as these teams go, man, let's get in here. We're going to start right at the top. And I want to be very brief with this, got a couple things to do before I call it a night. We're going to start with the AFC East. AFC East, the Chicago Bears traded DJ Moore to Buffalo Bills, so that gives them a clear number one receiver over in Buffalo. Bradley Chubbs from Miami came over. They signed him to a 3-year deal. D. Alford, the cornerback, they signed him a 3-year deal. Miami Dolphins, they released Tua. I ain't gonna try to say it. Talavulanga. They released Tua. They picked up Malik Willis from the Green Bay Packers. He was the backup for them. They gave him a 3-year, $67.5 million deal. $45 million is fully guaranteed. Big pickup for them because they needed a quarterback. They picked up Tutu Atwell as a receiver. That'd be him and Waddle. They both got speed on their side. Who else they get right here? Picked up a kicker, Zane Gonzalez. Patriots picked up Vera Tucker, offensive line, much needed. They gave Romeo Dobbs a 4-year deal, $70 million contract coming over from Green Bay Packers. Jermont Jones coming over from Baltimore, I want to say. On the defensive side, defensive line, he got a 3-year deal for $39.5. And Kevin Byard coming over from the Chicago Bears on a 1-year deal for $9 million. Nice pickup for the Patriots. Jets have traded for Geno Smith. This is where he was drafted to. He is back with the Jets after being dismissed from him after he getting not smooth out by his teammate who got his job broke. They franchise tag Breece Hall. They re-signed Jelani White. Trevondre Sweat from the Tennessee Titans was traded to him for Jermaine Johnson, the defensive end. They picked up Demario Davis, the cornerback. Nashawn Wright, the cornerback from the Bears. They gave him a 1-year deal. Minka Fitzpatrick comes over from Miami. They needed a safety. They got a safety on that team now. Moving on. Next, we got the Baltimore Ravens. They picked up Trey Hendrickson after the trade with Max Crosby didn't go through because he failed a physical. I'll be brief on that in a second when I get to that. The Bengals, let me see. They picked up Jonathan Allen from the Commanders, 2-year deal. Cleveland, what we got for Cleveland? Cleveland picked up Quincy Williams from the Jets, 2-year deal, linebacker. Steelers picked up Rico Dow, 2-year deal. They traded for Michael Pittman from the Indianapolis Colts. They gave him a new 3-year deal for 59 M's. Jamil Dean, 3-year deal from the Buccaneers. They re-signed Asante Samuel Jr. and they signed Darnell Savage, the safety. AFC South, Texans, they traded for David Montgomery. What else they got? They picked up Braden Smith from the Colts, 2-year deal, offensive line. Signed Reed Blankenship from the Eagles, 3-year deal. Colts re-signed Daniel Jones, 2-year deal, $88 million. That can be worth up to $100 million, which is crazy. Re-signed Alec Pierce for $114. Arden Key, they picked him up, 2-year deal from the Tennessee Titans. Jacksonville, let me see. Jacksonville ain't really pick up nothing spectacular. Well, Chris Rodriguez, he's coming over from the Commanders. He'll be the backup for, 18 is gone. He'll be the backup for Bigsby, I want to say. All right, my Tennessee Titans, we picked up Mitchell Trubisky to be the backup. Wendell Robinson, the wide receiver from Giants, 4 years, $78 million deal. Jermaine Johnson from the Jets, defensive end. John Franklin Myers, 3-year deal, defensive line. Solomon Thomas, trade from the Cowboys. Cordell Flott, 3-year deal from the Giants. Cornerback. Alante Taylor from the Saints, 3-year deal. And Joshua Williams, 2-year deal. I think he came from the Chiefs maybe. So we addressed it. We needed some cornerbacks. We needed some defensive line help, and we needed another receiver, a slot receiver. I think he's like 5'8". He's coming off a 1,000-yard year. I think that helps our team. Now, with the draft, I'm hoping now that we go for another receiver that we can build and we get some more pieces on the defense. I'll be okay if they go for Jermaine Love as well as the running back, but we'll see if that's what they want to do. AFC West, Denver Broncos. They just re-signed some people. Chiefs picked up Kenneth Walker Jr., the reigning MVP, Super Bowl MVP, 3-year deal because they let go. Well, they got rid of Pacheco. Travis Kelce's coming back. Raiders picked up Connor Hayward. They picked up Jalen Naylor, 3-year deal. Sorry about that. They signed Kwity Paye. They picked up Nakobe Dean, linebacker, Quay Walker, linebacker, Taron Johnson. They traded for him from the Bills. Chargers. They picked up Keaton Mitchell. I think he came over from the Steelers, maybe. No, he came from the Ravens. Picked up a couple of linemen. Nothing really spectacular. All right, NFC East. They franchise tagged George Pickens. They traded for Rashawn Gary from the Green Bay Packers for a 4th-round pick, which is pretty good. Giants picked up Richard, the fullback. They signed Isaiah Likely, 3-year deal, tight end. Tremont Edmonds from the Bears. That was a big pickup at linebacker. Greg Newsome, the second, a 1-year deal, cornerback. What we got here? The Eagles. They signed Tyreek Woolen, 1-year deal from the Seattle Seahawks. That was a big deal because they got some beast cornerbacks over there. This helps with their backside defense. They're going to miss Bayard, though. Well, he's been gone from them. They're going to miss Blankenship and somebody else on defense. There's a couple people they missing from defense. Commanders, they signed Rashad White, running back. They picked up Chad, the tight end, Okonkwo from the Tennessee Titans, 3-year deal. They signed Chason the Edge. Nick Cross from the Colts, 2-year deal, safety. NFC North, what we got? Devin Bush is a nice pickup. I thought he was going to go back to Cleveland. They gave him a 3-year deal. Detroit signed back my boy Teddy Bridgewater to back up. What's my boy name? Jared Goff. Isaiah Pacheco signed a 1-year deal. Damn, $1.8 million. That's it. They ain't get that boy shit. They don't believe in him. Cornerback Rock Ya-Sin, they re-signed him. Packers picked up Javon Hargrave, 2-year deal. They traded for Zaire Franklin from the Indianapolis Colts. They picked up Benjamin St. Juste from the Commanders, 2-year deal. Minnesota, this is the most recent trade. Kyler Murray is now the Minnesota Viking. I knew they weren't going to believe in J.J. McCarthy. He's ass, like ass. Not saying Murray's not, but Kyler Murray would be a perfect fit, and he's going to get the ball to Justin Jefferson for sure. Is that it? NFC South, Tua was signed to a 1-year deal versus the Veterans Million, which is crazy because he was just making over $100 million. And then to go to the veteran minimum is crazy. They signed Austin Hooper, a 1-year deal. Nick Folk, 2-year deal, kicker. Ain't really do much. Carolina Panthers picked up Jalen Phillips, 4-year deal, $100 million. They picked up Devin Lloyd, 3-year deal. That's pretty big. And they re-signed Isaiah Simmons. So Panthers defense going to be good. They just got to continue building up that offense to give Bryce some more pieces to throw to. The Saints tried Travis Etienne to a 4-year deal, running back. Buccaneers Kenneth Gainwell, they gave him a 2-year deal. Cardinals gave Gardner Minshew a 1-year deal. He'll be the backup. They paid Tyler Algier coming over from Atlanta. They gave him a 2-year deal. Not bad, not bad. The Rams, what we got? They traded for Trent McDuffie from the Chiefs. That's their number 1 cornerback. They got him. They signed Jalen Watson as well, 3-year deal. 49ers picked up Mike Evans from the Buccaneers. I didn't see that coming. I thought they was going to be a lifer with Tampa Bay. He wasn't feeling the coach. He just said he got to get out of there. He signed a 3-year deal with the 49ers. Shout out to Drake Greenlaw, just coming back from the Broncos. Going back to reunite with the 49ers for a 1-year deal. Seattle, they paid Rashid Shaheed 3-year deal, $51 million. And that is it, y'all. All those trades, I want to say for that day, damn, did I say the Raiders? I didn't see the Raiders on there. I want to say like the Titans and the Raiders spent the most money. Where did the Raiders go? Let me see what the Raiders did. The Raiders. Oh, I did go to the Raiders. They picked up a lot of defensive players. Tennessee, we picked a hell of a lot of defensive players. I like what we did in the draft. If I'm going to say anybody won the draft, I'll probably say the Rams because they went and got those cornerbacks. So they was getting cooked last year. They went and got some solid cornerbacks. That's only going to help them get better. The offense was already there. Matt Stafford's still going to be up there. He's the MVP. He got the targets. I know Devontae Adams going to come back stronger. I know Puka Nacua is going to come back stronger. Kyron Williams, they got a nice team, but that defense just got 10 times better with those cornerbacks. So I'll say right now, just thinking off head, I'll say the Rams won, and I'll say my Titans made a big impact, and the Raiders. Because like when you spend a lot of money like that, it gotta generate the wins at the end of the day. That's all I got for y'all, man. I just want to get in here and give y'all the updates on the free agency signings. Let me know what your team picked up. What do you feel like your team needs to address going into the draft? For my Tennessee Titans, I think we could do running back. We definitely need a receiver, and we need defensive help. Whatever pieces on defense we could get that's going to make a difference and generate pressure on the quarterback is what we need to get. I think we addressed the defensive line, got 2 of the best in the game, top 15 guys to put with Big Jeff. Our rookie defensive end is going to be okay. Linebackers, I think we could still need a little bit of help on there. Cornerbacks is cool. The safety's cool because we got to get this offense right, man, because I know Cam is 10 times better than what he displayed this year. We're coming off a terrible year again. Like, that's 2 years in a row. We got to do better. Tonight we're revealing our new helmets and uniforms. I look forward to that. I think it's about to drop in a couple of minutes, so I'm about to go check that out on social media. But overall, thank y'all for tuning in to the Mechee from the Midwest podcast. I want to thank y'all for tuning in every week.
All black tonight. Shirt says it all. Mechee from the Midwest. Been a long day, but the city stays awake. Hold up. You see that? MFTM in the sky. Guess they're calling.